Well, my friends, continuing here. So much for being brief, right? Man, one of these days, I'm telling you, I'm going to get it down to one tape, one 41-minute tape. But not today. So, anyhow, their attitude, they're scooping everything up. They want to solidify the deal. They want this wealth imbalance to just be like ancient India or something with the caste system. It's classism. Okay, like Max Kaiser calls it neo feudalism. Neo just meaning new. It is. That's what I mean about the normalization of slavery in this country. It's a bad thing. How does it make people feel? Uneasy, cheated. Okay, it's burdensome. It's loathsome. It's worrisome. It's foreboding. It's fearful. It makes them feel insecure. You lack freedom. And everybody in their fancy houses, like that story, guy selling his house, thinking wow, man, somehow it was magical. And he goes out and tries to buy something else. What do you think? You're not free. People used to be free when you could buy a house in this country for less than 10 grand on a minimum wage job. One person working. Support the family with disposable income. That's the America I remember as a child. And you wonder why I'm angry with the Federal Labor Department? This is not whoopsie daisy. We were remiss at giving adequate, commensurate cost of living adjustments for well over half a century. And there's a good reason for it. These are the highly educated ones, the learned ones, the university graduates with the acronyms behind their names. Working there, right? They only hire, you got to have the creds, man. Let's see. What do you got? Oh, yeah, you qualify. You run the Federal Labor Department, and you're the little, the hierarchy. You're just below, and you're running the show and deciding policy and lack of policy. And you're the ones that are going to explain on Judgment Day why you didn't come out in the press and make a statement. Why isn't the Federal Labor Department making annual statements explaining to the employers out there the basis for raising minimum wage, of which it's a two-way street? I want everyone to be very clear where I stand on this issue. If your money's going up in worth because the cost of living is in decline, then and only then there's a justification for lowering the federal minimum wage. Who can disagree? I'm talking about basic fairness. Got all these laws, but we can't have basic labor fairness. It's about, I got to fight for my union and this and that. Old number one, oh, well, you didn't make, oh, well, it's like this air of, well, I mean, you should have done, but I paid hard. I worked hard to get my degree and all this, and I worked hard this job. Well, suppose everybody on earth had a university degree, a master's degree, PhD in their chosen field of interest. Does that negate the fact that we need one whole hell of a lot of jobs that are done in society that are imperative to the welfare of society? People working in farms and factories and everywhere else where minimum wage workers or close thereabouts are performing services vital to our civilized, supposedly civilized society. Who could deny that's true? And yet you want to marginalize them. You want to pick on them. You want to cheat them because they lack higher education and they lack skills. And you're going to stand before your owner and you're going to justify your belief system on Judgment Day. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying to help you to see where you might be evil and not even be aware of it. And then you got to go out and help somebody else. That's it. That's the way it works, man. We got to spread knowledge. Knowledge is power. Confusion and ignorance are disempowerment. And even the people out there, they look like they got it going on, man. They think they got it going on. They're delusional. They're in the wrong line. They think because they're rich and successful in this world, this ephemeral, temporary scene, man. We all know that's true. I mean, it's as obvious. You die, you live, you for a little while, and you die. You never know when that's going to be. So how much stock do you want to put in this? Do you want all your eggs in that basket? Or do you want to plan ahead and say, maybe there is an almighty creator God, and I gotta explore what he wants from me about pleasing him? Okay, your parents. Everybody wants approval from their parents. But you understand, I just like to point out repeatedly about how the Labor Department could have prevented this. It's the currency debasement. That's how they've normalized slavery. And the Labor Department's in there because if they had come out, they could have prevented it. The houses could be, instead of $10,000 like they were in the early 60s, anywhere you want to live. My hometown is Santa Cruz, California. Though I was born in North Hollywood, but I spent most of my life, and I just consider it my hometown. I went to a lot of school there. Santa Cruz High, I graduated from, actually, Cabrillo College. I had to take an extra year because I spent a year sailing with my dad in Mexico and Central America, my freshman year. But and doing some other stuff too. But you know, we're in a heap of trouble, my friends. It used to be easy, and they've just slowly, like the frogs in the pot of water, gradually they've turned up the heat, and we're cooked. We're sunk. We're done. It's just hopelessness, widespread hopelessness for people to ever be homeowners. Just when they think things are stabilizing, everybody wants stability. We have a hell of a lot more in common than out of common. Everybody wants to achieve what you want. If you want a middle-class life at least, and you want some semblance of financial security and financial freedom, hope, and just peace of mind, okay, what makes you think that other people don't want that? And if you're a landlord, those are your tenants. I mean, for God's sake, what does the Bible say? There's no laws that make you live by the golden rule. So all this stuff is fine. With all these laws we got to follow this law and that law and the next law. And if you don't, you can get killed or thrown in prison, take all your stuff, whatever. But there's no law. Even though Jesus said that's the only thing that really counts. Love God above all else, and then treat others the way you want to be treated. Love others as yourselves. That's the golden rule in a nutshell. And yet we're all transgressing that one law, saying, oh, well, that's religious. Yet we've got this bad religion. We're all told, no explanation. No, we're not going to teach ethics. There's no relevance. There's no pertinence. There's no value in teaching K through 12 ethics and beyond. No. We got no use for that. Yet we got all these laws. We're told we got to follow strict. I mean, you talk about a bad religion. Do not do this. Do not do that. Do not do the next thing. And it's all supposed to be based on morality. It's supposed to make sense, right? Well, there's a good reason why you don't go killing, you plan a murder, and you don't. Well, that's called morality. That's called ethics. Do you understand? So, this idea that you're religious if you say people ought to live by the golden rule, and it shouldn't have to be a law where somebody's got to get in trouble and sent to an ethics rehabilitation center, of which I think we ought to get rid of all the jails and put those in, because when you commit a crime, you're acting immorally, unethically, according to our law. It's religion, this bad religion, authoritarianism. Even though maybe it was smoking pot and you were thrown in jail, they took all your stuff. But today they say, that's fine, just so we get our cut. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing immoral and ethical about smoking pot. You understand? It's like how any of us have any semblance of sanity is no small miracle. That is evidence for the amazing grace of God. We're all recipients, and the lucky ones know it. They know who to thank, man. Who to attribute the fact that they're coping, they're contending, they're getting by one day at a time. It's by that amazing grace of God that I do, my friends. It fails to amaze me that I do as well as I do, or that any and other people do. It's just like, oh my God, the walls are closing in on us. We all know there's got to be something's going to hit the fan here. We need monumental changes in the economic structure. We need a total reset of economic reality, which could have all been avoided, all easily been prevented painlessly if we had stopped it in its tracks when it first started. This didn't happen overnight. In the early 60s, they didn't come out and explain to the American people, well, you know what? Next year, we're giving you a minimum wage increase. You're going to get an adjustment. Instead of $1 an hour, we're going to give you $1.10 an hour. Here's the caveat. Here's what's going to happen, though. That dollar that you're getting now is going to be worth a nickel or less, because that's where we are today. And if you think they were able to achieve that overnight, think again. But if you think the Federal Labor Department wasn't involved in that, think again. How could they not be? The Federal Reserve, I mean, this loaning money. I mean, how do you, which one of us gets a credit card that we don't have a due date on it? Where's the due date for this national debt? What's the plan? No, they're just going to keep watering it down. You understand? That's what currency debasement is. They make more out of less. So they take this concentrate that's worth something at one time, and they just keep pouring the fire hose, melt it down, just water it down, spread it so we can spread more. We'll pay the national debt with borrowed money, and we'll just borrow more and more ad infinitum, right? And we're not going to talk about the implications of that. Whose back that's burden that's really falling, because it is falling on somebody's. And the Federal Labor Department's been in on it. A big part of it. A big part of it. It's utterly obscene. I'm beside myself. It's unnerving, insufferable. Madness. This world's rife with madness, up one side, down the other, and to the nth degree. I have no faith in this world. It's insane. It's insane, my friends. And I'm telling you, time to jump ship, man, because, we're all stuck on this ship of fools. And we can only jump ship in our hearts and minds and our spirits and souls and let God know, man, this is not my place. This is not my fight. I do not want this scene. It's just getting worse and worse. These people got no plan. They just want to depopulate the earth. The Georgia Guidestone type people are running the show, want to reduce the earth's population. Oh, my God. And then we got this pandemic going on. Well, how did this thing spread so fast? What's going on here? All these people making grand fortunes off vaccines, and the whole industry in itself has benefited from this. Quo bono, the ask in crime. Nobody should profit from this. Let that money go to end the homelessness. You say you care about the health and safety of the people so much, yet you're fine as homelessness has grown steadily over year after year after year. That's fine. Because we're selective about who we care for. Is that it? We care about the productive, industrious class out there. We want them to live. Well, you make a fortune. People are making fortunes off this crap. And I'm wrong? I'm radical to ask, what the hell's going on here? We're in trouble. The sooner we face it, the better. God knows we're in trouble. You just got to know what he knows. Okay, because it's got to hit the fan. He's going to get tired. That's the way it's written, that it comes down. He puts his foot down. Because right now he's allowing that cup filling with the fury of his righteous indignation. And he's going to spill it out. He's going to say, that's it, draws the line in the sand, puts his foot down, and that's Judgment Day. That's it. No more chance to be who you really wanted to be deep down in the marrow of your heart, your mind, your spirit, and your soul. The gig's up. That's it. It's just going to be trauma from there on out. If you think of yourself basically as a good person, but I just thought I was being pragmatic and practical because that was the way to success. I was told that definition of success, it was right. And, I just thought it was good to make a lot of money and not care about others because, well, that was just the culture I was brought up. You got your excuses. You're scrambling for answers for why your values have not been in line with his. When it's all just writ large, it's cut and dried. It's simple. It's not hidden. It's not a secret. Quite the contrary. And you've got your excuses. I'll have mine for the way we've behaved, and that's it. And we hope they hold water. And I just want to go to a better world. I do not want to be around bullies. I'm willing that everybody have exactly the same as I have. That's it. Equality, man. You got to be an egalitarian. I know for a fact God is. Because you got to fire any God that's not way better than you can ever imagine. And that's a starting point right there. Got to love his children equally. He cannot play favorites. And that's the way it's written. When Jesus tells me, I got to love my enemy. I got to love the guy that's stealing from me, that 1 in 1,000 guy is the reason why I got to carry a set of keys in my pockets all the time that I might lose and freak out about, lock in my car. Any number of things. We all know it's happened to us. I had to spend so much of my time thinking about these stupid things, locking doors, unlocking doors, losing my keys, freaking out because there's one guy, and I'm supposed to love that guy. That's right. That's right. That's the burden that the righteous have, is to love their enemy, to forgive, because we want to be forgiven, and to not judge to the point of condemnation. We've got to be discerning. Okay, we've got to make choices. We've got to say, well, that person's thinking is not consistent with what I firmly believe is right. They're not living by the golden rule in their business affairs. They're not treating the down and out as Jesus Christ. And we call ourselves a Christian nation and all this. They're just not right. Their values are not in line. They're just not being honest because of cognitive dissonance, because it's easier. It's the path of least